family. Thank you all for coming. It started a few days ago when you wrote me, maybe sometime, someday, some Shabbat, some year, maybe you plan to come to the States. So we have a shul in Queens called Etz Chaim. Maybe someday we'll meet. And I wrote, this next Shabbos we're here. So it happened. I wish what we pray for today in Tisha B'Av will happen so soon, so quick. Because we really spoke only a few days ago. We haven't spoken, we just wrote each other. And then you told me, okay, so on Sunday, I told you on yesterday, on Shabbos, I was at the Lincoln Square Synagogue, and we were there in Manhattan, but you told me Sunday. And I thought, okay, that's an Orthodox shul, and it's Tisha B'Av. What? On Tisha B'Av, he wants a shiur, he wants a lecture. No one will come. No one will come. I know in Israel, there's nothing like it. I saw your schedule today, the dramatic occasion with Kamsa and Bar Kamsa, and the stories and the films and the discussions. We don't have it. We must bring it to our shuls in Tisha B'Av, all this content and all these important things you do. I never knew about such an option. So I told him, no one will come at Tisha B'Av at 6, but I see someone came, so thank you. Thank you for coming. It's not easy in this hour. And thank you, Dani Dayan. It's an honor to have you here. We know each other from Israel, yeah? And good luck in the new job, General Counsel of Israel here in New York. It's a surprise for me, and thank you for being here. And maybe next time I'll sit here and you'll speak here in front of this audience. And in Hebrew we say, Hatzlachatcha Hatzlachatenu. Your success, I don't know how to translate, your success is ours. So, of course, it's true when you speak about your new job. And what I thought would be right in this time and in this day is speaking not about Sinat Chinam. Sinat Chinam, I think it's the phrase, when we say Tisha B'Av, we say Sinat Chinam. It sounds like so similar, it's like we know it by heart. Yeah, Tisha B'Av is Sinat Chinam. So what we have to do in order to fix it is Ahavat Chinam, to love and not to hate. Okay, next. Okay, finish with Tisha B'Av, what's next? And I want to stop and till Mincha to try and show other options I've found recently. As Rav Rosenberg said, or maybe as he exaggerated and said, I'm not so famous, I'm not such a celeb in Israel, and not such an important journalist, but I try to do my best. I work for Channel 2 and news, I work for Yediot Acharonot, newspaper, and for the Galei Tzahal station, it's the IDF radio station in Israel. And I also give Torah lessons, shiurim, in Tel Aviv and in Jerusalem. Stop it, please. So, we'll see 2 examples during the shiur. But I thought of trying to find other ways to deal with this day, except for Sinat Chinam. It's of course important. But you can see other ways Chazal thought about this day. First of all, there's a great midrash in which Jerusalem speaks with Bavel. I don't know if it's famous here, but Jerusalem tells Bavel after they won and we lost. Jerusalem speaks to Babylon, to Bavel, and Jerusalem says, "You didn't win. You're not the winner." And in Hebrew, it goes like this: Mikdash Charuv Hechrav, a temple that was ruined. You've ruined a temple that was already ruined. Ir Srufa Saraft, a city that was already burnt. You think you did all the flames, all the fire. No, it was already burnt. Aryeh Harug Haragt, the lion you think you killed, he was dead already. It means everything was ruined. Everything was bad. They just came and won the war, but we defeated ourselves. We won ourselves first. I mean, we lost because we were weak inside. And someone told me, after I quoted this medrash somewhere, someone told me, there's someone today who understands it. Today, not Chazal, not 2,000 years ago. Today, who understands it? Great, he really understands it. Chassan Nasrallah. I don't know how to say in English, Yimach Shemo, but in Hebrew it's Yimach Shemo, Hassan Nasrallah, sat in Binj Bel, the city of Binj Bel in Lebanon. In the year 2000, he was hidden, not in a place, in a public place, but he spoke, and he gave a very famous speech, and he said that Israel will be defeated, not because of their bullets, not because of the tanks. Don't even look at their nuclear weapon, he said. We want to make all the Russians go back to Russia. We want to make all the Ethiopians go back to Ethiopia. We talk about kibbutz galuyot, right? Where there's a phrase kibbutz galuyot. He talks about pizur galuyot. Nasrallah wants the Yemenites to go back to Yemen, I should go back to Poland. Everybody should go back to his place. That's how he sees it. I'm here with a delegation of Nefesh B'Nefesh. It is part of this kibbutz galuyot. We will fly with them to Israel 2 days ago, on Tuesday. And Nasrallah speaks about destroying Israel, and he says Israel is weak because it has no unity, it has no strength, it has no belief. The Israeli society is separated. There are fractures. They're not one. They're not united. It will go. He understands this concept of Aryeh Harug Haragd, Kemach Tachun Tarchant, Mikdash Charuv Hechravt. He understands that the spirit is everything. That's how you win and that's how you lose. I'm going to show you something I did this year. I showed it on Channel 2, but I'm glad it was translated. We'll see it in English, but there are versions in even more languages, French and more. I can't show you on Tisha B'Av everything I do. Sometimes I just talk about politics and the IEF and the Netanyahu and his wife, or I don't know, all the things that are on our news in Israel, Trump, Hillary, anything. That's not for Tisha B'Av. But I think this piece is made for Tisha B'Av because it shows how the spirit is the most important thing we have. I had the privilege to interview Nathan Sharansky. The famous prisoner. He didn't want, he's very, very shy. His wife is even more, his wife Avital. They told me they don't want this thing to be discussed, what you're going to see. And I had to come and convince them. I brought my kids to meet Avital, and we spoke, and I tried to explain why I think it is important to show you what you're going to see. If Bezrat Hashem it will work, okay? Don't breathe, because it's very, very dangerous, yeah? Don't move. But what I did there is showing Sharansky's secret. I thought about it a lot when I was a child. I read about him, and he's a hero in Israel, and I think here too. Where this power, I mean, how can you stand in front of the KGB and in the USSR for years, not eating and not drinking, all these strikes he had, and all bring in prison, and all the investigations. Where do you get the strength to do it? And I think I found the answer in a cassette. Vital found it in their Boydem. How do you translate Boydem? I don't know. Boydem. Attic, yeah, attic, right, yeah, Aliyat Gag, but that's Aliyat Gag. How do you translate Boydem? It's more like, that's in Yiddish.
Overhead storage space.
Okay, overhead storage place, okay. My grandmother would prefer Boydem, but okay. And Avital found this cassette, a very rare cassette. It's a really historic, I think, evidence we have here. And she started listening, and she found a short conversation. Sharansky was arrested the day after what you're going to hear. And this conversation in his head gave him the power, gave him the strength, because he said, okay, I see all the people from the KGB in front of me, and they're telling me there's no Am Yisrael, no one's behind you, nobody cares about you, you're nothing, you're dust, you won't live, no one comes out of here alive. You're gone, it's over, all your dreams, Zionism, Judaism, it's over, no one's there for you. That's what he sees. That's the physical reality. But the spirit, as I said, is something else. And he remembers that a few days before, he heard Harav Eli Sadan. We're going to see him. In this short conversation, he told him, in a few seconds, he gave him the power. He told him a few messages, and it gave him the hope during all these years in the Russian prison. So it's one of the pieces I'm very proud of. I want to first show it to you, and then we'll continue to see why Sinat Chinam isn't the only headline in this day of Tisha B'Av. But let's try to see first this.
תוך כדי שביתות רעב, השבוע התגלתה קלטת נדירה של שיחת הטלפון האחרונה שלו לפני כניסתו לכלא הסובייטי. השיחה הזאת, לדבריו, הייתה סוד הכוח שלו מול הקג"ב. סיוון רהב-מאיר מביאה את התיעוד הזה לראשונה.
יש פה הרבה דברים שאמרנו לספרייה הזאת.
במלאת 30 שנה בדיוק לשחרורו של נתן שרנסקי, החלה המשפחה לעשות קצת סדר במרתף, שמשמש כארכיון.
כאן עוד אביטל בין 30-40 קלטות, מצא קלטת שאני יחידה שאני סיפרתי.
היום, אחרי שהקלטת טופלה ונוקתה במעבדה, התיישבנו עם שרנסקי לשמוע את ההקלטה ההיסטורית. זוהי שיחת הטלפון האחרונה שקיבל לפני שנכנס לכלא הרוסי ל9 שנים. 8 אנשי קג"ב הקיפו אותו כבר אז, בשעה שקבוצת פעילים מישראל הצליחה ליצור קשר.
עשינו 4 שעות אחרי זה עצרו אותי, שבוע אחרי שבוע, חודש אחרי חודש, אנשי קג"ב מסבירים לי שזה עולם יהודי עזב אתכם, פוחד להזכיר את השמות שלכם. כל הפעילים כבר בבית סוהר, חברים שלך בבית סוהר. אתה בוגד, לא היה לנו בהיסטוריה מקרה שבוגד פשוט יצא חי. ומול זה יש קולות של בחור שאני לא זוכר שם שלו, אלי סדן, על זה שהם מגייסים את העולם כולו ואתם תמשיכו והכל תלוי בכם. אז אני לא יכול להחליש את האנשים האלה שעכשיו נלחמים ואסור לי לקבל שום פשרה מקג"ב.
ומי הדובר שנתן לשרנסקי השראה במשך שנים ארוכות בבידוד בכלא? הרב אלי סדן, אז בחור צעיר, הוא היום ראש המכינה הקדם צבאית באלי.
נתן היה מבודד במשך הרבה שנים בתנאי לחץ אדירים של הקג"ב. אנחנו הבנו שזה מה שהולך לקרות. אנחנו מבינים שלאדם כזה הדבר הכי חשוב זה שהוא ידע שהוא לא לבד. היה לנו כמובן רצון להכניס כמה שיותר דברים בזמן קצר, כי אנחנו לא ידענו באיזה רגע הקג"ב יקטע את השיחה.
ואז באותו לילה, ערב המעצר של אסיר ציון המפורסם, עברה שפורפרת הטלפון במטה למען שרנסקי בירושלים אל פעיל נוסף, הרב צבי טאו. שנה אחרי, מה המשמעות של קלטת כזאת לדעתך?
אנחנו חייבים להזכיר לעצמנו כל הזמן שגם בדור שלנו קראו ניסים כמו היציאה ממצרים, והאימפריה הכי חזקה נעלמה, ומיליונים יהודים יצאו לחופש, וכל העולם מקום הרבה יותר טוב ממה שהיה, וכל זה רק בגלל שיהודים מצאו דרך לזהות שלהם והתאחדו במאבק משותפת שלכם על העתיד שלכם, ואז פתאום יוצאים כוחות עצומים.
Suddenly you see enormous powers, okay? When you look at the spirit, it's important to think about it. Who won? This young guy, Eli, he wasn't a Rav then, Harav Eli Sadan, but he was a young student in the Merkaz Harav Yeshiva then, or the strong empire, the biggest empire, the Russian empire, the KGB, who was right at the end of the day. I wanna, as I told you, I don't want to talk about the phrase Sinat Chinam. Maybe someone told me, maybe because we're Israelis, we love it because it's Chinam, it's Chinam. So bring me to it, Chinam, bring me more. Maybe because that's the reason it's so popular, but I want to speak about other 8 reasons Chazal gives us for the destruction of Jerusalem. We hardly speak about them, and I want to give them. As a journalist, my job is to discover new things, new facts, to tell you scoops, okay? So exclusively, we're going to discover 8 new reasons for our situation, but the scoop is in Masechet Shabbat, in Daf Kuf Yutet, Masechet Shabbat. We see 8 reasons that our sex gives us, and let's see the first one. Amar Abaye, Lo Charva Yerushalayim Ela Bishvil Shechilelu Ba Et HaShabbat. Abaye said, Jerusalem was destroyed only because they discredited the Shabbos in it. They didn't observe the Shabbos as they should. And yesterday, as I said, we were in Manhattan for Shabbos, and my son told me, we spoke on the phone, we have jet lags and we have delays. When Israel, it's very strange for my kids to understand that it's a different time area. It sounds like a movie. It's your Shabbos and our Shabbos, and why you're still fasting? It's Shabbat. So my son told me something about last Shabbos, because it was Tisha B'Av. Today is not Tisha B'Av, today is Asara B'Av, the fast is delayed. But my son told me he thinks Shabbat is like a joker. Like he plays cards, like when you have a joker, it wins. If you have a queen or a prince or a king, it doesn't matter. Because Shabbos is like a joker. There's Tisha B'Av, okay, but Shabbos comes and say, okay, but move. Tisha B'Av, I'm more important. I have the dominance. Shabbat comes first. So I thought about it yesterday, and maybe Shabbat is a joker. We must use more, because when you see this sentence, it sounds a little frightening. I mean, you must keep Shabbos. I must force you to keep Shabbos. Wow, you want to destroy Jerusalem? You must. It sounds scary. And in Israel, we have all kinds of conflicts around this, the discussions and disputes and arguments in the Knesset because of the Shabbos. I remember once I was in the Knesset. I covered something that happens there in our parliament, and I spoke, and I see the headline. They write the stripe. I just talk, and the editor, he gives the stripe. He writes the battle over Shabbos. And I SMS him, I text him, no, I don't like the battle and Shabbos. It sounds like an oxymoron. No, it's battle and Shabbos, it's not good together. Change it. And he's writing, no problem. It's not the battle over Shabbos. It's the Shabbos problem. I'm telling you, it's even worse. I think Shabbos is a solution. It's not a problem. But then I understood maybe this is not the right place for me. Maybe this scene of disputes and arguments because of the Shabbos, maybe it's not me, it's them. It's okay, you keep on with the battles and the problems, but I think Shabbos is something different, something higher than the conversations we have in the Knesset. And I think this is what Chazal also tells us here, because, as I said, the sentence itself alone, wow, okay, so you have to do something. But then you look around and you see what leads them to this conclusion. And they say a few things about Shabbos. Before they say this sentence, they tell us a few details, a few stories, a few examples. Reb Chanina would wrap himself and stand toward evening on Friday and say to everybody, come, let us go out to greet Shabbos the Queen. בואו ונצא לקראת שבת המלכה. Rabbi Yanai would put on his Shabbos clothes, special clothes, and say, Boi kala, come, O bride. Okay? Shabbos is a bride. And later they say Rab Abba would buy meat from 13 butchers in order to have in this Shabbos desk, in the Shabbos table, 13 different types of meat. That's what Rabbi Abba would do. And then Reb Safra, he would cook the head of an animal being prepared for the Shabbos meal. And Rava, he would salt the shibuta fish. There's fish called shibuta. He would salt him. Rav Huna would light lamps for the Shabbos. Rav Papa would wick the lamps. With Reb Zera would light the candle. I hope my husband hears all these works, all these jobs all these men did for Shabbos, because we see them working, we see them doing things. And then they told us another story about Yosef Mokir Shabbat. That's for the kids, but it's not a kid's story. It's here in the Gemara in Masechet Shabbat. Yosef was someone who really, really honored the Shabbos, and he bought a very, very expensive fish for Shabbos. And what he found inside, let's see if you're still awake at this hour. Yeah, a precious, precious pearl, a very big and expensive pearl. Yosef Mokir Shabbat. And then there's another story about Rabbi Yoshua ben Hanania and the Caesar, the foreign Caesar, I think it's the Greek Caesar. He comes and he tells Rabbi Yoshua, how come the food is so tasty today? And he tells him, oh, we have a special spice. It's not salt, it's not ketchup, not basilicum, oregano. No, we have a special spice. And the name is, what is the aroma, the special aroma? It's called Shabbos. It's a special, special thing we put inside the food, and now it's effective only in this day. That's the special thing we add to our delicious food in this day. And then there's another story. You also know about the two angels that are going with us from Shul on Shabbos. They're coming with us. I saw it in Manhattan. You see everything around so crowded, and all the noise, and people walking out of the shuls like it's a separate world, like it's heaven. So Chazal tells us, two angels come with us when we go on Shabbos back home, and if they see a bed and a candle and a table, they bless us. They bless the next Shabbos, that will be good like this one. And then there's another story about a partnership. When you say Vayachulu, in Kiddush, or when you pray on Shabbos, you say Vayachulu Hashamayim ve'aretz. Okay, the minute you say Vayachulu, something's happened, because when we speak, it changes the reality. And what happens there? There's a partnership. When you say Vayachulu, you and HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you start a partnership. He stops creating his world, you stop creating your world. And this minute, we become partners. And then, only after all these stories, then Chazal say, לא חרבה ירושלים, אלא בשביל שחיללו את השבת. כלומר, what is Shabbos? It's a good thing, it's a positive day. We see how they treat Shabbos, not as something so political, not something to fight, something, as I said, it's not a problem, it's a solution, it's something we all want. Why don't you treat Shabbos like this? They ask us, and they say because of this, Jerusalem was destroyed. A few days ago, I met Benjamin Netanyahu, our Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu. I wasn't alone. I came with 30 more journalists. I don't know if you know, but these days, Netanyahu and the Israeli media, the romance is not so well. But I think this sentence was true, even if I spoke here 20 years ago. Okay, so I guess it's always true. Okay, Bibi and the media are not such good friends. But now I think it's even harder. The relationships are very, very bad. And he asks to speak with many journalists. He invites them to his office in groups. I think every day now he meets another group like this. And I was there a few days ago before I came here. I think it was on Monday. And we came in, and the discussion is what we call off the record. Okay. Off the record, I don't have to translate it to you. In Hebrew, we also say off the record. You're not allowed. Off the record, I don't know, Danny, do you have it in Hebrew? Off the record. It's confidential, off the record. You don't talk about it. You don't talk about anything. It's inside information. Everybody speaks in free way. They ask, they talk, all the subjects, everything is possible, but it's off the record. So I can't tell you anything. We spoke about everything, but I can't tell you the details. What can I tell you? I think I can tell you something very important that happened there. Maybe that's the main headline from this conversation. When you come in, it's in the Prime Minister's office and the entrance to Jerusalem. I live next door, mamash, we're neighbors. So they all came from Tel Aviv and Herzliya and from all. And we came in, And when you come in, after the security check, you have to put your phone, your cellular phone, in this mailbox. Mailbox, it sounds like an email, but the real physical mailboxes, small mailboxes, and you have to put it there and lock it, and then you have this small key, you walk in, when you want to walk out, you open it again, and you see what's going on with your phone, with the world, and that's the only way to get in, so we had to do it. We all locked our phones, and we went in. We sat with him for, I think, 4 hours. Yeah, he gives a lot of time to this, to these discussions. I think almost 4 hours. Fascinating conversation. But at first I had these, I don't know if you know this phantom feeling. You know what's phantom? When they take off like a hand or a leg, it's like a pain, like something is missing, like you don't have like you don't have a hand. Something here is missing. But after a few minutes, you start listening. You start listening. I listened like I've never listened before. You start looking and you start hearing, and you're there. You're very, very, very concentrated. You're there and you're only there. And I also started looking around. Usually, your eyes are like this, and okay, I'm here, yeah, I'm listening, yeah. But I was there, I was listening, and I was looking. For the first time, I saw the flags on the wall. I saw many small details, the paintings, the pictures. I saw many small details. I think I noticed it because of the mailbox outside. And after 2-3 hours, think of it as a round table. We all sit, and Bibi is standing and talking. And I started feeling Shabbos. I started thinking maybe Bibi should do Kiddush. I mean, that was the atmosphere. Something there was so right, so true. We were there. And when we went out, we spoke about it a lot, about this gift we got. And I spoke with my friends. I told them, okay, you can have such a day, not listening to Netanyahu, listening to yourself, to your friends, to your family, to your kids. And I realized in these hours, although it was Yom Chol, I told you, it was Monday, I realized the gift of Shabbos, the gift of being concentrated. I think it can be something all the streams in the Jewish world can not only agree, we can promote it as a startup, not as something ancient, No, it's something for the future, for all of us. I saw it on Manhattan. I went to the Lincoln Square Synagogue, but on my way I got confused. I only went into the Reconstructionist, that's the name. You have original things here, we don't have it, but something like this. And I felt it's not the right place, I'm not waiting for me here, but I saw the sign they have in the entrance, big sign, it's called Unplugged Shabbos. Once a month, let's try to unplug on Shabbos. Okay, so let's start with it, and let's do it every week after we try it once a month. Unplugged Shabbos, it with a big slogan there and everything. So I think it can unite us all with this special gift. That's the first reason Chazal gives us for Tisha B'Av. It's not just a recommendation. They tell us, wow, it's essential, it's important. The second reason they speak about here, אמר רבי אבאהו, לא חרבה ירושלים אלא בשביל שפיצלו קריאת שמע שחרית וערבית. To translate it, we'll try to translate it. Jerusalem was destroyed only because they neglected to recite the Shema morning and evening. What is Shema Shacharit V'Arvit? That's the normal, that's the pulse, that's the stable life. Chazal also speak here about, it's not nice to talk about these, our forefathers, but they were so drunk. They just didn't know what it's night, it's evening, it's morning, it's noon, what's going on here? What's going on here? Anyway, I'll keep on again. I have, it's okay. My kids told me they will hear me in Jerusalem. They know I can speak loud. But anyway, they tell us, Kriyat Shema, Shacharit Ve'Arvit, it's the stable, normal way of life. To wake up in the morning and to go to sleep in the evening, it's something important, it's something holy. It's something holy. And then, thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, and then the normal pulse. I think we in the news we don't cover the normal things. You know, there's a sentence that in the news we say good evening, and then we prove during an hour why it's not true. You know, good evening, and then everything's bad, and everything is so extreme, is so crazy. Only bad things, only things that are really so not normal. And Chazal tells us, Kriyat Shema Shacharit ve'Arvit. It's not winning the lottery. It's not winning some reality show. It's waking up in the morning, saying Kriyat Shema, making sandwiches for the kids, going to work, going back home. Oh, it's boring. No, it's not boring. It's holy. That's the base for the whole society. Lo levatel Kriyat Shema Shacharit ve'Arvit, the normal way to live. And it leads us to the third reason. If the parents are drunk, so what's going on with the kids? Where are the kids? לא חרבה ירושלים, אלא בשביל שביטלו בה תינוקות של בית רבן. Jerusalem was destroyed only because they didn't let the kids do study, the Torah studies, the basic things we must know, the Torah studies. They didn't give the children were in the streets instead of in the classroom where they belong, where they should be. That's what the translation here said. It's Schoenstein, of course. So Jerusalem, the kids in Jerusalem were supposed to go to school in the morning, to study Torah, to study the basic values of our nation, the basic things they must know. And again, it's dangerous if the future generation, they're the future, so there's no future if they don't study these basic things. It's dangerous. I think we were one of the first nations to treat kids as adults, to let them study. I mean, I know in other cultures, they just waited, and when you were in the right age, okay, go to work, go to the market. You're only, we're interested in you only if you can go out and work, okay, to earn money. But no, we want the spirit. We want the kids to learn. It's like in Shabbat, someone told me that usually in the materialistic world, you say, okay, work hard and earn money, okay, make money, להרוויח כסף, to do money. And then, okay, you want to rest, no problem. What do you do in order to rest? Spend money. Now you have the fun of spending money. So you can earn or spend, but it's all around the money. And Shabbos comes and say, no, there's another level. No money at all. Not spending, not earning. I'm not working and I'm not spending money in the mall. It's something else. So also here, kids, you raise them and then they go to work. No, there are years. It's not kalkalit. There's nothing potential. You don't earn anything. When a kid sits and studies Torah, you earn everything. So I think this third reason is very important nowadays. I saw in Manhattan, we were in many shuls. I saw something special. I also want to take it with me back to Israel. The beginner's minyan. It's common here. Beginner's minyan. You come and you study the basic way how to pray. I come from a non-religious family in Israel, and I needed such a minyan. There was nothing like it. To study the basic, you open the Siddur. I don't know how to go into a shul and understand all the rules and all the things. Where do you sit? Where do you stand? What do you do? What do they say? It's too fast. And when do you speak? And now they're all silent. What's going on here? All the rules. Unfortunately, it's not taught in every school in Israel. Unfortunately, תינוקות של בית רבן. We don't all get these basic values we need to know. But I saw your beginner's minyan for adults, but they are תינוקות של בית רבן that also in the right age they weren't there, but now they come and study it again. It was very special thing to see yesterday. The beginners minyan, the way to teach, even if you don't know, it's never too late. You can still learn the basic facts you have to know from our culture, our heritage. The third reason, the fourth reason, speaks about something else. Jerusalem, לא חרבה ירושלים, אלא מפני שלא היה להם בושת פנים זה מזה. What does it mean? Jerusalem was destroyed only because they had no shame for each other. That's a very Israeli example, I think. Being boshet panim, being with boshet panim, it's being polite, being shy, being someone who is not shouting, is not yelling, is not insulting. It's something, again, it's not a recommendation, it's the things we must do in order to live. And I think boshet panim, that's maybe the challenge because in our area, in our time, because of the Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, I don't know what's popular here, WhatsApp, everything. Our reality is changing, and boshet panim is one of the things that we're losing, because a few years ago, I remember so many rabbis in Israel talked about the talkbacks. Okay, you know what a talkback is? It's also an English word, but there was like a column or something, and then people wrote, but they were anonymous. And they sat at home, they can choose like a name, and then they wrote all the bad things they want to say. Okay. I remember so many articles, and the headline was always, Arur makeh re'ehu baseter. You know this phrase? Arur makeh re'ehu baseter. That it's not nice to talk about your friend when you're anonymous, when you hide yourself, when it's a secret. But the word baseter is deleted. There's no more baseter. Those who wrote talkbacks, now everything is here. You're here with your name, with your address, and with people write about me. You can see in this page, exactly in this page, but everywhere. They can write awful things, and then I click and I say, hey, I know you, I see your name. There's no more boshet panim. Everything's out. You say everything, you talk about everything. Donald Trump is from here, no? So you know what I mean. But no politics. But לא חרבה ירושלים אלא מפני שלא היה להם בושת פנים זה מזה, being shy, being bashful, being like polite. Someone told me in Israel, I spoke about it, there's this DNA of the Jews. That's what the Gemara says. It's Baishanim, Rachmanim, and Gomlei Chasadim. Right, Baishanim, Rachmanim, and Gomlei Chasadim. It's supposed to be our DNA. So someone told me it's true about the Philippines in Israel. I don't know if you know, but it's Baishanim, Rachmanim, Gomlei Chasadim. That's supposed to be our DNA. That's supposed to be our characters. Baishanim, Rachmanim, and Gomlei Chasadim, to have boshet panim from one another, to be shy, not to be so rude. And then there's another rule they give us, another reason. Amar Rabbi Yitzchak, the fifth one. לא חרבה ירושלים, אלא בשביל שהושבו קטן וגדול. Jerusalem was destroyed only because the small and the great were considered equal. Now, we live in a democracy, you live in a democracy, and it's great, it's perfect. There's no other way right now. In order to everybody goes and vote, and it's one voice. That's true. Obama and you all have one voice. That's perfect. That's democracy. But you can't live like it when we talk about culture, when we talk about Torah, when we talk about music. No, we're not all equal. I'm not Mozart. You're not Rashi. Nobody. No, there's bigger, there's smaller. There's someone who's great, and there's someone who's less perfect, let's say. And if you see everybody, you say, hey, you're all equal. You're all kulam oto davar. You're all equal. That's a problem, and it destroys our society. I think we see it in families nowadays. Chorban habayit, the destruction of the home, of the temple, starts in Chorban habayit, in the personal home, in the bayit, in the house. And you see it in all the little stories they tell us in the Gemara about the destruction. You see it starts from the very, very little things, and a husband and his wife, a mother and his son, a father and a daughter. It's such in very, very small things inside the houses. Chorban habayit, the big one, and Chorban habatim, the small pigs, the small houses. I think להשוות קטן וגדול, to equal small and big, it starts in the families. When you see today kids, they run the family. The other kid, they're first. Okay, there's no more. The parents and the kids are equal. I see my friends sometimes they do like they vote democracy. Okay, so we have father and mother. That's true, but they have 3 kids. Okay, they it's their decision. It's democracy. No, inside the family it can't be democracy. The parents are first, and then the kids come and listen to them. It can't be the opposite. We're not all equal. And להשוות קטן וגדול, Chazai said, it's a problem. They give an example about Kohanim and Israelim. Okay, we know Birkat Kohanim. Why can't we do Birkat Israelim? Okay, that's the example they give. Then Kohen and Israel is the same. Hey, we're all equal. No, it's not. We're not equal. No. If you studied harder, maybe you're smarter, maybe you're, I don't know, more moral, more, you have more depth. I don't know. We're not all equal. It's not a way to live. If Katan and Gadol are all the same, that's not the right way. The sixth reason sounds weird because we just said we need boshet panim, we need to be shy, we need to be like very, very, how do you say, polite. And now they tell us, לא חרבה ירושלים, אלא בשביל שלא הוכיחו זה את זה. Jerusalem was destroyed only because they did not admonish one another. They did not say, תוכחה. They did not say one another, no, that's not true. That's not true. No, that's the truth. There's lie and there's truth. No. You can't always be nice. To be boshet panim, to be polite, it's important. But hey, there's truth. There's, you can say, okay, each and every one has his own narrative. We see it inside with the Palestinians. Okay, that's what you say. You have your Nakba and we have our independence. Doesn't matter who's wrong, it's all narratives. No, there's truth. There are bad and good people here. Inside Judaism, you can't say everything a pluralist. There's that. All tribes, all colors, everything is true. There's no one knows the truth. Nothing is absolute. No, tochecha means I care about you. If I'm too boshet panim, it means I don't care. If I speak, if I speak and I say my opinion, it means I care about you. I also, although I must be nice and polite and boshet panim, I must tell, we weren't here. If Am Yisrael wasn't allowed to say, wasn't able to tell during all the generations, that's true, that's not true. We won't go with this new guy with his new idea of Christianity. No, we won't go with this stream or with these ideas or with this ideology. No, we had red lines. We must say no sometimes. We must להוכיח זה את זה and say, hey, that's not true. Chazal speak about the prophets שלא הוכיחו, that they didn't tell the nation the truth. They only told us we're perfect, we're good, we're great. And I see today the culture of likes. You want likes, right? You all want people to like you. And it's not nice to say things that aren't nice. Chazal tells us sometimes you must say bad things to people in order to help them, to save them. That's the way to save Jerusalem. The seventh reason, I think it's a hard one. לא חרבה ירושלים אלא בשביל שביזו בה תלמידי חכמים. I used to cover what is called religion in Israel, religious, like it's called in Hebrew, כתבתנו לענייני דתות. It sounds great, כתבתנו לענייני דתות, it's like I cover religions, like I speak with Buddha and Hare Krishna, and all kinds of ways of Islam. It's not true. כתבתנו לענייני דתות, usually you cover the ultra orthodox stream, and you seek for problems there, all kinds of interesting things. And I stopped doing it because I felt what you say, לא חרבה ירושלים אלא בשביל שביזו בה תלמידי חכמים. I felt when we give the microphone to a Rav in Israel, it's usually because he did something wrong. He said something very, very extreme, or he there's a problem, okay? There's a problem. And sometimes it's true, nobody's perfect, but I felt we treat our Judaism in a wrong way. I read a few days ago about Dr. Etz Chaim, maybe you've heard of him. He was what we call Mevaker HaMedina. You don't have it here. It's like an ombudsman of the state. Mevaker HaMedina. It's like a judge, but he like writes reports about the state, about the Knesset, about Prime Minister, Mevaker HaMedina. So he was like the state's ombudsman, this Dr. Etz Chaim. And
I think it's more a comptroller.
Comptroller, okay. So
ombudsman is more like a Controller, like a lawyer.
Controller? Okay, great. Thank
That's the
you.
official.
Stay here, okay, you're helping. Stay here. So, the point and the מבקר המדינה, I'm going back with new things. So, עיתון הארץ, you know עיתון הארץ? He did a survey, it was in the 70s, and he asked people, very supreme people, to answer the question, what is the role of the rabbis? What is the role of a Rav? What is love? Okay, so what is Rav? What is the role of a Rav? What? That was the question. And many people wrote articles, this minister and this member of the parliament, many people wrote, judges really wrote articles to Iton Haaretz, to Haaretz magazine about the role of the Rav. And this Dr. Nevinson wrote one sentence. He wrote, I don't want to answer the question, what is the role of the Rav? I do want the Rav to tell me what is my role. That was the sentence. Today, okay, I want the Rabbanim to tell me what is my role. And today, his son, who Zacha, his son is Harav Avigdor Nevinson, great Talmid Chochem, big tzaddik, the Rav of Harova Yehudi, and very, very well-known Rav that tells many people what is their role in a positive way, in a way of education. So, לא חרבה ירושלים אלא בשביל שביזו בה תלמידי חכמים. Although I had an interview a few days ago, I spoke with a woman who let's say she was a part of something very illegal, very, very bad that in a community, in a small Hasidic community, and at least one Rab was involved there, and she told me, you know, bizu talmidei chachamim, it's also giving the name Talmid Chacham to someone who is not Talmid Chacham, someone who is doing things that are not according to the Halacha, not according to the law. We also do it in our generation. People that are not Talmidei Chachamim, and we treat them as Talmidei Chachamim. At the end, this is also bizui Talmidei Chachamim. So it's not so simple to לא לבזות את המילה, את הפhrase Talmid Chacham. The last reason, I want us to see another video to try to explain the last reason. לא חרבה ירושלים, אלא בשביל שפסקו ממנה אנשי אמנה. Jerusalem was destroyed only because people of truth had disappeared from it. That's a translation here, but here I think even he can't help me, because Anshei Amana, it's something that is very hard to translate, because even in Hebrew we don't really know what it means. Jerusalem was destroyed, it had Anshei Amana in it, and it stopped. There are no more Anshei Amana. If we have no Anshei Amana is not Rabbanim. What is exactly Anshei Amana? I tried to figure out. Google didn't help, but Anshei Amana, it's something special. Amana means emun, trust, emet, true. What is Anshei Amana? I saw somewhere it's the opposite of Ktanei Emunah. Ktanei Emunah, it's people with a small Emunah, with no faith. Ktanei Emunah. But okay, but the opposite should be Gdolei Emunah. No, they say Anshei Amana. What is Anshei Amana? We understand these are very, very special people, and they must live in order that Jerusalem will live. Hagaon Mivilna, Hagra, speaks a lot about Anshei Amana. I saw in his writings, but it's very Kabbalah, and it's very hard to understand. But he said we must build Anshei Amana, not only Talmidei Chachamim. It must be something special, people that are very special in order to succeed. And I thought maybe Anshei Amana are people that are doing all the 7 things we said. So then when you come to the 8th reason, maybe if you combine it all, you become Anshei Amana. And many people told me many things, so I talk about it a lot. I had a few lessons before Tisha B'Av, and I asked people, what is Anshei Amana? And I got so many answers. But I think in this hour, maybe this video will help us. Someone wrote me, I think your Ali Shif from this piece you did, I think this is Anshei Amana. Ali Shif is a young girl from here, from the US. She comes from Maryland. She studied in the Johns Hopkins. She thought of being a nurse here. And then she heard that in Israel, a woman called Daphna Meir was murdered in a terror attack inside her home. And she heard it. Daphna Meir was a nurse. And Ali Shif said to herself, okay, it means something to me. Now, I'm not here to talk only about an aliyah and aliyah. As I said, we have a lot to learn from you. Maybe you have learned from us. I think we all have roles where we live and where we all have missions all around the world. But this story touched me not only because Ali did aliyah, because she's saying something here. If they tried to kill one Jew, one nurse in Israel, it means something to me, and it changed her life. And Baruch Hashem, she was also shy. It took time to convince her to do this piece. But I think it can change other people if they see it, and this is what we're going to do now. Maybe that's a modern way to speak about Anshei Amana. So let's try to see.
אלפי עולים צפויים להגיע לישראל במהלך חודשי הקיץ. אחת מהן הגיעה אחרי ששמעה על המקרה של דפנה מאיר שנרצחה בדקירות סכין בפתח ביתה בעתניאל. דמותה של דפנה גרמה לאותה צעירה אמריקנית לעזוב הכל, את ביתה, את מולדתה, ולעבור לכאן ואפילו לעבוד כמו דפנה, כאחות. סיוון רהב-מאיר ליוותה אותה.
כ100 עולים ירדו לפני כשבועיים יחד מהמטוס הזה של ארגון נפש בנפש ומשרד הקליטה אל עבר חיים חדשים בארץ ישראל. הרבה סיבות הביאו אותם לכאן. לאלי שיף שעלתה לבד והשאירה מאחור 2 הורים והרבה חברים. יש סיבה אחת מיוחדת.
A woman named Etz Chaim, and she was an amazing woman, and she was unfortunately killed in a terrorist attack in her home.
איבדתי לא רק אמא, איבדתי את אמא שהייתה חברה הכי טובה שלי.
דפנה מאיר שהייתה אחות נערצת בסורוקה נרצחה בפתח ביתה בעתניאל לפני כחצי שנה. בדיוק כשאלי סיימה תואר ראשון בסיעוד והוכרזה כאחות באוניברסיטת ג'ונס הופקינס המפורסמת.
Dedicating my aliyah to her, I think it gives, first of all, I hope that in some way I can honor her memory, just on a small scale, because she was so amazing.
כמה ימים את ישראלית?
5 ימים? 5 ימים?
How is it so far?
It's Baruch Hashem. It's been amazing. I haven't even been to the Kotel yet. This is my first time here, so it's really new for me, but I love it.
Do you know how to say a nurse in Hebrew? Achot. Achot, right.
Yeah.
So you have a...
Achot, כן.
זה לא רק ביקור ראשון שלה בכותל, אלא גם מפגש ראשון עם נתן, בעלה של דפנה.
שלום. ברוכה הבאה. איזה מרגשת.
So grateful to meet you. Your Daphne Meir, she was an incredible inspiration to me. Since I heard about what happened, I was davening for her every day, and for your family, and I was thinking of something that I could do just for you guys and to honor her memory, because she was an inspiration for me and for so many other nurses. And she gives me a lot of strength also in my aliyah and in what I want to do in this country. So.
זו התרגשות מאוד גדולה לפגוש אותך פה. לפגוש אותך עם המעשה המדהים שאת עושה. ופה, במקום הזה, שהוא כל כך מרגש, זה... נגמרות המילים במקומות האלה.
ואז היא מראה לנתן מה הטקסט שמלווה אותה כבר חצי שנה באופן צמוד בסלולרי. טקסט אישי שדפנה כתבה לעצמה, תפילת האחות.
Grant that I understand, remember and realize that the medications are a gift from you and their efficacy is your message to us. Grant that I view and feel joy at their beneficial influence of the medications. Amen.
אתה הכרת את התפילה הזאת?
אני מכיר את התפילה הזאת. אני... כן.
דפנה כתבה אותה מתי?
דפנה כתבה אותה בזמן שהיא למדה את החלוקת תרופות במחלקה הנוירוכירורגית, ומצאתי את התפילה הזאת גם בארון שלה, בבית חולים, בתא שלה. משם הבאתי את זה.
משם זה התפרסם עד למרילנד.
כן, זה התפרסם. באמת שמעתי שזה תורגם לשפות ומופץ במיליוני עותקים. אני יודע שגם בעולם הנוצרי זה נמצא זה בהרבה מקומות. אני מנסה לחשוב מה היא הייתה אומרת, כמה הייתה שמחה לשמוע על מעשה כל כך... אני יכול להבין שזה כל כך לא פשוט לעזוב את כל מה שיש שם ולבוא לפה. ובטח כשבאים לבד, ההורים מאחורה, אז בעיניי, לא יודע מה היה לי את האומץ הזה לעשות את הדבר הזה, הלוואי שכן. אבל זה עוד אבן בבניין של המדינה הזאת, אנשים כאלה שבאים לפה.
זמן רב אחרי שאנחנו ונתן כבר עזבנו את המקום, אלי, הישראלית החדשה, עוד נותרה ברחבת הכותל המערבי, הפעם עם תפילות אישיות, משלה. זה היה המפגש הראשון שלה עם משפחת מאיר, אבל ממש לא האחרון. כעבור יומיים נתן צלצל. נעמה, הבת שלו, בת 12. אלי הייתה אורחת הכבוד במסיבת בת המצווה.
להכיר אותך והאבא שלך וכל המשפחה שלך. תודה רבה. תודה רבה לך.
בעוד כשנה היא תחל לעבוד כאן כנראה בהדסה עם התפילה של דפנה אצלה בכיס וגם בלב. הישראלים שיפגשו אותה במחלקה לא ידעו מה הסיפור של האחות הצעירה עם המבטא האמריקאי, לא ידעו כיצד מעשה רצח אכזרי גרם לבחורה אחת במרילנד והחליט לשנות את מסלול חייה, ובמקום בו נוצר חושך, להוסיף עוד.
בהצלחה.